Yes, people, welcome to another edition of the finished article. Welcome to Fight Night, episode 11. I'm your host, Shazad. I'm going to be joined by my co host, Shazad, and my other co host, Nadeem. We've got a good show lined up. Shaz wants to run his thoughts on what we spoke about last week. We've got things to talk about Frank Warren, AJ Usyk, Chris Eubank Jr., but let me get the co-host on and let's get this cracking, people. Yes, Nadeem, how are we, bro?
Yes, mate, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, bro. I'm all good.
A
You
little
ready
bit
for this episode?
disappointed. A little bit disappointed with your intro, though, mate.
Why? What did I
Wasn't the
miss?
usual yes,
Oh,
peeps.
I,
It's your
I
boy
only said
Shaz.
one yes. Come on, bro.
Yeah, mate,
Come
that's
on.
not. It's not
All right, all
acceptable,
right.
mate.
All right, hold on. Yes, people. Welcome to another edition of the finished article, Fight Night, episode 11. Is that better?
Yeah, it felt a little bit forced, though, that did.
You crazy guy. Right, let's get the other guy on before we forget about him. Yes, Shaz, how are we?
What's happening, bro? I'm disappointed in that as well, bro.
Oh, the pair of you.
Let me down.
You've got to switch it up sometimes, innit? You can't keep saying the same stuff over and over again, innit?
Well,
Gets
that was just
boring,
the
like.
difference of one yes. It made a lot of difference, that.
Fair enough. I'll remember that for next time, innit, babe?
Constructive feedback is good, bro.
It is. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, especially from this guy here, man. I
The thing
always
is,
get
we'll
good
do it
feedback.
live.
I always get feedback from him, whether I want it or not. Anyway, so it's right, innit? But Shaz, I'll let you give your thoughts on what happened with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Not last weekend, the weekend before. You're about a week late, So I'll let you run your thoughts on it, though, bro.
Well, you know,
run it back.
It's never too late to hear what Shaz has to say.
It is though when we're on the finished article, bro. Remember,
I'm not talking about the guy in the middle because he never has anything productive to say anyway. But
right, you're getting pinned now. I'll see you later. No, I'm joking, bro.
Cancel me. Anyway,
bro, I will cancel you if you carry on, bro. Just remember that. And that goes for you as well, Nadeem. Yeah, I'll cancel you as well.
Anyway, boys.
Right.
I've got the power. Yeah, I'll cancel you both.
Wrap it up short and sweet. We pretty much predicted that Fury was gonna destroy the hell out of Wilder. Wilder hasn't been in the game for about 18 months, and he was just swinging and missing.
Same with Fury though, bro. He hadn't boxed since their last fight either. So
no, I agree, but it was more on Wilder to come out and prove the point, and unfortunately, he just gassed up. He about gassed up like someone fell short of the petrol crisis a few weeks ago and got stuck outside. But Fury did what he needed to do. Absolutely loved it. The good thing is we didn't have to stay up and watch it to 5 a.m. I think by the time it started.
It was about 4:30, 5 a.m.
Yeah,
crazy times, bro. Crazy times.
But great fight. Enjoyed it. Watched the highlights.
Yes.
And Wilder was a bit of a pussy for not accepting that he gracefully lost.
Come on, bro. What's with the language, bro? I thought we were keeping it halal today, bro.
Okay, we can keep it halal.
I'm joking, man. Carry on.
Wilder was needed to man up and just accept he lost to the better man.
No. Bro. Run that back and say it like you actually wanted to say it. Go on.
Yeah, he's a pussy. That's what.
Yeah, he needs to grow up a pair of balls in it. Just say it, bro. Say it, man. This is the finished. This is the finished article. Yeah, there's no holding back. You can say what you want on this podcast. Nothing will be held against you. Like I said, Shaz, there's no offense to Don't ever say no offense. It's all offense given on this podcast, isn't it? That's how we run it around here, bro.
But yeah, great fight. And I think Fury's good. Well, it depends what Fury does from here. So apparently there are rumors he might retire. I think Dylan White is actually in contention
for next fight.
But he's got a fight or Waterland to confirm the mandatory.
So as far as I know, Dillian White's mandatory next opponent for Tyson Fury. But I wanted to run one question by you, Shaz. I think me and Nadeem spoke about it. About Deontay Wilder, the amount of times he got knocked down and got back up. Like, you can't discredit, the heart that he had by going that far and getting knocked down 5 times.
No, I don't discredit it because Fury took hits and went down as well.
Exactly.
What when I say that he gassed out, what I mean to say is that we've talked about it time and time again. Styles make fights, and unfortunately, Wilder, basically what he did was, instead of taking the rematch when he, as soon as he lost, like AJ's done, he waited like a year and a half, longed out. Yes, he's sure he trained his trainer, but in boxing, unless you put those skills to practice in a real fight, it's like if I start punching you, for example,
you'll never even catch me. But
you're never going to be able to catch it unless you get your rhythm, and there was no rhythm there. Whereas Fury, you know what Fury's all about. He's just a lanky.
Fury had it all the way through the fight. I mean, there was only a couple of rounds that Wilder won towards the start of the fight anyway.
Yeah, that was expected. But I mean, otherwise, apart from, you know what?
He started off okay, just like from round 5 onwards, like, that's when it just went downhill for Wilder.
Yeah, bro.
But let's move on, bro. Let's move on. So let's talk about this little rumor that we've all heard. I'll go to Nadine first. What are your thoughts on this rumor that AJ has been asked to step back, let Fury fight Usyk for the what do you call it, the unification fight, and then AJ gets the first shot at the winner of the unification fight?
I think Warren has gone for an easy option to get Fury, the undisputed championship, without having to have a proper fight.
Yeah.
Because Usyk is not a proper heavyweight.
No, we've said this before, but he beat AJ. Let's be honest, man.
So I think it's all
he'd
a
give
ploy.
Tyson Fury a better fight than AJ would.
Here you go again, talking your rubbish.
Nah, that's my opinion, innit? Your opinion might be different. Just because I'm saying something you don't like doesn't mean it's rubbish.
Zip it.
You zip it. Mate, I'll cancel you off this show in a minute. I'm telling you.
Oh, man, it's like having a power trip today, isn't it, Shaz? But yeah, I think it's a joke. I think it should stay the way it is. I think Fury should fight Dillian.
Yeah.
For keep him, in the loop with the boxing, give him someone easy to beat, and then wait for the outcome of Fury. Oh man, I keep getting I keep talking about that, like AJ and Usyk. Yeah.
Put your teeth back in, bro. Put your teeth back in.
Yeah, so I think it should be decided on that.
Yeah.
I think Warren's just been a little, as Shaz says, he's been a pussy, mate. He needs to let AJ fight.
Like I said, say what you want on this podcast. There's no holding back on this.
Let Fury fight properly, mate.
I'm just gonna come out and say I want to kick the shit out of Frank Warren. That's what I want to do. My man has the balls to come and say that AJ should step aside. Basically, what he's doing is he said, we all know without a shadow of a doubt that Fury takes Usyk to school, and that's what he's trying to do. Yes, I would agree that between AJ and Fury when they fought, I would say right now, hand on heart, I would say that Fury does have the advantage because he has the height and reach, but basically this is a cop out by Frank Warren to say, you know what, he should step aside. No, he shouldn't step aside, mate. He's just looking out of self-interest, and my man can go suck it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're both right. I mean, I don't think AJ should step aside. If he wants to be part of the unification fight, he needs to come back stronger than his last fight against Usyk, beat Usyk, and then be in that unification fight against Tyson Fury and maybe win it.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think AJ should take that option of letting them fight, let someone be the first unified champion in 20 years, and then he gets the first shot at him. Why? Why should AJ step back? Give me any reason. Both of you, if you can, give me a reason why he should step back. Because if he can't, then there is exactly. And that's what I wanted to say.
One thing I would say, hand on heart about AJ, he's lost twice, but the one thing I respect about the guy is he doesn't make excuses. He takes.
He's not a loser.
He's very humble. When he loses, he goes, "Okay, I lost to the better man. Yeah. I'm going to come back stronger," and he apologizes to his fans for his loss, which I rate.
He don't act like that bitch Deontay Wilder in his corner.
AJ has more balls than Ollie right now because at least he admits
Here we go. I was waiting for some shots to be fired at Soulshore, man. I was waiting for them shots, bro.
Yeah.
Finally out 10 minutes into the podcast and they're out, bro. There we go. There we go. But I mean, I think over the weekend there was a fight. Chris Eubank Jr. I can't remember who he fought, but he won 5th round stoppage.
He was a nobody man. He cracked a couple of ribs.
His opponent couldn't start the 6th round, so it was a technical stoppage by the referee.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he was a nobody, I mean, it's expected for someone at his standard to beat nobodies, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is with Eubank Jr., he shouldn't be fighting nobodies anymore because he's past his probation period, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a decent boxer. He's a good boxer.
No, he is. How many fights is he in now? How many fights has he had? 32 fights.
Yeah.
There you go, mate.
Why is he fighting? I don't understand.
With them numbers, he's an experienced fighter.
100%. He's got 30 wins, 22 by KO, and he's got 2 losses. Who was his losses to? Can anybody remember?
Good question. Let me have a look. Give me a sec.
I know that at the end of the fight, he wanted to fight
Actually, wasn't it
Saunders?
Groves? Wasn't it Groves that he lost to?
Yes.
Sure it was.
George Groves.
Oh, yeah. So he's lost 1 fight to George Groves in Manchester, and his other one was Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, he wants that fight again with Billy Joe Saunders.
Really? Fair enough.
He called him a rat and everything after the fight. Well, he was stood outside the ring.
At this fight that's just happened, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, where is this boxer, George Groves?
I think
since Groves
that fight,
I haven't heard of him since Carl Froch days.
Yeah, I know. His last fight was actually September 2018 in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, where he lost to Callum Smith by KO in the 7th round.
I take it he's retired then, because he's been out of the ring for that long.
Yeah, his other fight before that was his Chris Eubank Jr. fight where he won on unanimous decision in Manchester. Yeah. But he's not had... I mean, he's not really fought. Yeah, he's not fought for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, he only had that beef with... He had that beef with Carl Froch, didn't he? They absolutely hated each other, them two.
Yeah, and he lost both of them fights to Carl Froch. I remember 8th and 9th round he lost in 2014 and 13. What a muppet. He fought James DeGale as well, didn't he? That's another name I've not heard of for a long time.
Yeah. I think all these big names are starting to drop off, aren't they?
Yeah. DeGale fought Eubank Jr. as well. He was in the Olympics, wasn't he, DeGale?
Yeah.
DeGale, yes, I think he was.
Yeah. He was in around the same time as AJ.
Yeah. He was actually with Frank Warren. Wow. What a muppet. Yeah. Fair enough. I'm just trying to see who DeGale's actually fought. His last fight was Eubank Jr. and he lost that.
DeGale?
Yeah. He lost to Eubank Jr. in 2019 and he's not fought since.
So a couple of things I want to bring up. This one might be of interest.
Go for it, bro.
Caleb Plant versus Canelo in November.
Yes. I saw the press conference a few weeks back where Plant threw some punches at Canelo. Yeah. Canelo slickly, ducked him and clipped him back. And that's I don't expect anything else from someone like Canelo.
Plant tried to slap Canelo. That was funny, actually, how he ducked out of it.
He got ducked and could have been knocked out.
Always in fight mode, Canelo.
Canelo's always in fight mode, though, isn't he?
Canelo's sick, though. I'll give him that.
Man. He's
Canelo's a really
he's a rated boxer. He is, man. I tell you.
He
highly rated.
He knocked Amir Khan out, didn't he?
Glass Chin Khan. He knocked him out.
My days. Whenever I bring Amir Khan up, he always brings up that glass chin.
He even got down on the floor next to him because he knew he hurt him.
Yeah, he went down to see if he was all right. That's how bad he knew he hurt him.
Bro, that was bad. Glass chin. Then Golovkin went and broke Kell Brook's eye socket.
Oh, bloody
yeah, I remember that.
Oh, I saw it was messed up, man. I remember that.
And this is why welterweight should never jump up to bloody hell, bro.
Did they move? They both moved up to middleweight for them fights, didn't
basically
they?
What they did is,
basically
what they did is, and I'm gonna say this like this is uncut. They decided to see who had the bigger balls, and what they did is they both dropped their balls at home. And
Amir Khan left his in his wife's purse at home, innit? Like he always does.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
He has to get his permission from his missus for everything, mate.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, there's a rumor that he's looking for a new fight soon, Amir Khan, because he's had surgery on his hand.
Amir Khan is.
He's had surgery on his hand, which has been a problem for him in his last few fights because he's not.
You know what Amir Khan sounds like right now? Amir Khan sounds like Prince Nassim Muhammad back in the day. Always talking about a comeback, but you gotta realize, bro, his days are done, bro. Let's call it.
But Amir Khan hasn't retired though, has he?
I know, but
I think
Prince
Nassim, mate, would have more chance of winning his next fight than he would.
Yeah.
Oh damn! Oh dear!
Shots fired, mate.
Shots fired at Amir Khan. So there's news. This is from 2 months ago. The next fight for Amir Khan is Kell Brook.
2 months ago.
And it's going to be. Where is it going to be? This.
Maybe over I believe it when I see the contract.
Right, so it's meant to be in December this year.
Right, if it was in December, they would have announced it by now. We haven't heard anything. Yeah. That.
So it's meant to be both of their final fights before they retire. That's what it says.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that's just someone putting fake news up.
A chance of seeing Nadim at my walima than I've seen it with Amir Khan and Kell Brook fight. That's what I'm saying.
It's meant to be in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Saudi.
Not happening, mate. Not happening.
Wasn't Amir Khan's last fight in Saudi?
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it?
Tournament. It was some sort of tournament.
So there's a quote here now. It's not me saying this, yeah. So don't give me any grief for it, yeah. I'm just a messenger. I'm just reading it out, yeah. This is what it says on this article. Aside from AJ versus Fury, Khan versus Kell Brook is still the biggest fight in British boxing, and I still think everyone will get very excited about this fight. I have always wanted that fight, and I think he finally wants it now too.
Can I say something? So just before Nadim jumps in, and it talks about this banner that I'm going to bring up. This is the biggest poison in boxing right now.
But before you carry on, promoters are one thing, but it's mostly about money, which we've already spoke about in other podcasts, that money ruins sports. But I'll let you carry on about these promoters because I know you've been dying to say stuff about these promoters, bro. Go on.
No, I get that money ruins it and changes it, but promoters, basically what you don't realize is that boxers have a shelf life. So what you got to realize is when let's go back to Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. When those fought, the hype was real, that everyone was buzzed up. But what ended up happening was a defensive masterclass by Mayweather because all he was doing was keeping them at bay. You didn't even see Manny Pacquiao come out, and I'm like, so we got hyped up for that, and then we ended up getting. I stayed up to watch that fight.
You're not the only one, bro. I actually stayed up to watch it. I was very disappointed.
Like, I'm not gonna get that 8 hours of sleep back. So my point is, when you're in your prime, you need to be taking. You know what? Take a loss. Take the hit.
So what you're basically saying is boxers need to do what Amir Khan does. He'll take any fight against any big name. Whether he knows he can win or lose, he'll still take the big fights.
Take it, bro.
And that's what I rate him for, that he won't shy away from the big fights.
No, exactly. That's what
he does it for the money, right? I know he does it for the money, but you still have to rate him for the fact that he goes for the big fights. Whether he gets knocked out by Canelo and stuff like that, that's another story, innit? But he goes for the big fight. I mean, he fought Crawford as well.
Yeah, he did.
Crawford's the one where he got hit with low blow and then decided not to carry on in it.
That's a different story, but at least the fact is you take those opportunities when you get them, because if you never know when they're going to come around, because these guys are aged, they'll move on, they'll fight someone else. It's not like when you're recovering from a hamstring in football or something like that you play next game. You never know. I mean,
Yeah, man,
boxing is
definitely.
a dangerous. In fact, the funny thing is, these YouTubers, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, are taking the
Bro,
piss
don't
out of
get me
boxing right
started
now.
on them. Don't
So
get me
they're
started on
literally
them, bro.
saying
I'm telling
boxing's a
you.
joke.
Bro, I'm telling you, don't even get me started on them. I'm not even joking.
I mean, how does Tyron Woodley lose?
Oh,
And
here
I'm
we
like,
go.
okay,
Here we go. He's
either you're
opened the
really
can
bad
right
or
now. Redeem, he's got the can opener, yeah, and he's opening. He's like unwinding that can right now. He's opening
the Paul brothers are batty boys, mate.
The Paul brothers are the biggest joke in not just boxing but mixed martial arts altogether. They're just a
Biggest
bunch of
joke
muppets.
everywhere,
Just
man.
don't. I mean, you don't see KSI saying, "Oh, I want to fight Mayweather. I want to fight Conor McGregor or Tyrone Woodley." Like, because KSI knows he get his ass kicked, but Logan Paul and Jake Paul, whichever one it is, they're both just muppets, man.
They figured out, mate, that they can make millions and millions off fighting big names because they're YouTube fame.
Yeah, exactly. That fight with Tyrone Woodley, that was 100% to me. That was fixed.
Yeah, so was the Mayweather one.
There's no way in heck that one of the Paul brothers beats Tyrone Woodley, whether it's boxing or MMA or UFC, bro. There's no way he beats him unless it was fixed. The Mayweather fight, Mayweather dragged that fight out longer than it needed to be. Like, he knew he was going to win on points regardless, yeah? So he just dragged it out and just did like a sparring session with him for 10 to 12 rounds or whatever.
We held him up at one point, didn't we? We said that before.
Yeah, he was actually holding him up so the fight wouldn't finish. I think they were getting paid to go a certain length of time into the fight. Or maybe Mayweather had money on himself to beat him in a certain round. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man, that these so-called celebrity YouTubers, whatever you want to call them, can just come out and say, "Oh, I want to fight such and such because I think I can beat him." Well, no, you can't. Which one is it that's meant to be fighting Tommy Fury? Is it Jake Paul?
Jake Paul, yeah.
Yeah, I hope Tommy Fury knocks him clean out.
You know, the funny thing is, Tyson Fury has publicly said he will disown Tommy Fury
if he loses.
If he loses.
Yeah, but he's told him he had to change his name as well for a year to Tommy Fumbles.
Yeah, he said something silly like that, didn't he? Yeah. But there's, after Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, one of the Paul's brothers came out and tweeted saying that he finally now is good enough to step in the ring with me. And this is talking about Tyson Fury. So I think he's trying to get a fight with not Tommy Fury, but Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury won't take him serious. Tyson Fury would knock him out in the first round.
I think he's as delusional as David Hay was when he said he wanted to fight with him now.
Oh, yeah, David Hay. That's another special guy.
There are many special guys in boxing, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%.
Too many these days.
Yeah, there's too many of them these days, man. There's too many. So there's been, on Sunday, there was a UFC event. I was going to have a look to see if there was any decent fights on that card, because I don't think I know any of the names on it. You lot might know some of these names. The main event with a women's featherweight main event, Norma Dumont versus Aspen Ladd. Heavyweight co-main event, Andrea Arivorski versus Carlos Felipe. Lightweight fight, Jim Miller versus Eric Gonzalez. Manon Fiorot versus Myra Buena Silva. And Nate Lodwell versus Klein. There's not one fighter on that card that I know.
Nada, bro. Nada. That's all I can say about that.
Even before that, UFC fight night, Dern versus Rodriguez, that's another women's main event. And even the undercard, I don't know anybody on that undercard. So UFC-wise, there's hardly any good fights coming up now.
That's it, mate. That's why they keep the likes of Conor McGregor and all that on the list, mate, because they want to keep the promotion going and get some big bucks going.
I mean, the next The next big fight is on Saturday, the 23rd of October. It's next week or this weekend. Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori main event middleweight match. I've never even heard of these guys.
No, they're up and coming. No one else. That's the problem.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, even okay, there's a fighter I know on the next card on the 30th. Islam Mccarrick versus Dan Hooker. That could be a really good fight. That Hooker's a good fighter, man.
They need to be getting people like Bisping back and JP.
Islam's one of Khabib's crew. He's had one loss on his record as Islam. And there's another fighter you guys are gonna like. Yeah, if you've not seen him fight, Google this name. Khamzat Chimaev. He's 9-0 right now in mixed martial art. Guy's mental, absolutely mental. Google his fight, YouTube his fight, and watch it. You'll really like him. I really enjoyed his fight. He's on the same card as Islam, on the 30th of October. So that's going to be a decent fight. Looking forward to that. After that, what were the fights that are coming up? Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Sunday, the 7th of November. Anyone interested in that? No?
You know what I'm interested in? You know what I'm interested in is Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. I want to see.
No, bro. It's about Jorge Masvidal versus Chris Jericho in AEW.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You don't. Oh, if you've not seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you've not seen it,
I haven't seen it, but let me catch up.
But there's another fight here: Justine Gaichi versus Michael Chandler. That could be a decent fight. No, okay. Max Holloway versus Yar Rodriguez. These are going up until November. These fights. I'm just trying to see if there's actually any decent fights that we can watch.
All right, let me ask you guys a question, just to mix it up a bit while Shaz goes through that. There's no particular order on this. I'm just going to put it out there.
Go for it.
Top 10 boxers of this generation.
This generation.
Yeah, name whoever you want. I'm just putting it out there. And anyone in the comments, feel free to. Yes, I got a comment from Paul Cassing. Yeah.
He's just said, yeah, I've just read that. Conor McGregor punched some Italian DJ in Rome the other day. He's out of control. He's an absolute muppet, Paul. I can't stand him. It doesn't surprise me that he's trying to hit people that he knows can't hit him back. It's an absolute pussy all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying on him. Can't stand him. Can't stand Conor McGregor. Can't wait till he gets back in the ring and someone snaps his other ankle.
Oh, wow.
Get Kurt Angle in there with him and get him to snap his other ankle. I'd love to see that. The Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. Get him in.
Yeah. Go on.
To answer your question, I'm just naming boxes, yeah. No particular order. Top 10 of this generation. Tyson Fury's up there. AJ's up there. At one point, Deontay Wilder would be up there. Probably not after his loss to Tyson Fury. Paul saying that poor old man in the pub he hit was very out of order. 100%. Like I said, he just tries to hit people that he knows can't hit back. Like he wouldn't dare go up to someone, like another UFC fighter and start kicking off with them in the street. He'd get his ass kicked. He'd get his other ankle snapped. He'd get his head smashed in. Other boxers of this generation, top 10, Canelo, Mayweather, what's his name? What's his name? Triple G. I call him
Golovkin.
I just call him Triple G in it.
Yeah.
Triple G in that. Like Triple H. I don't know who else. Amir Khan.
Excuse me.
You heard me, Amir Khan. What about you, Nadeem? You named some boxers top 10 of this generation, then, man.
Pretty much the same as what you've mentioned there as well. I don't think there's anyone really that you could put in there. I mean, Usyk, he'd be in there. He's a decent fighter.
You know what? I actually forgot about Usyk. Yeah, put him up there.
I'd rather have Andy Ruiz in this list than Deontay Wilder.
Do you know what? That's a good shout, actually. Andy Ruiz is a decent fighter. What about Kell Brook? Would he come in the top 10?
He would, but yeah, he would. He's definitely a good fighter.
Yeah.
Definitely a good fighter.
What about you, Paul, in the comments? Let us know top 10 boxers of this generation. I'd like to see your take on that. What about you, Shaz? You've asked us, so you drop yours, man. Come on.
So, and I'm going to add to that list Mayweather, Pacquiao.
No. Mayweather's not this generation, though, bro. Mayweather's like in his 50s, bro. He's earlier generation.
I'm talking about the generation when he ended up, just throw it out there.
No, but like this generation will be boxers that are still at their peak. Would you not say?
Well, define peak. I mean, some of these guys keep going.
Yeah, but Mayweather, come on, man. We know Mayweather's past his peak. He's fighting one of the Paul brothers. He's fought McGregor.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. He's definitely past his peak. Mayweather's still good, don't get me wrong, but I still think he's past his peak, and he's not of this generation. He was of the last generation.
Fair enough.
In my eyes. Your opinion might be different, bro. So
I would definitely put Fury up at the top.
100%. 100%. Fury will be at the top of anybody's list right now, isn't it?
And Fury, I would put up there. Hell, you know what? I have to throw Golovkin in there because of his 2 fights with Canelo. Absolutely enjoyed that. You know, I know this guy. I know this guy lost, but Wilder was known for his big punches, ability. AJ obviously.
What about this boxer, Lomachenko?
Yeah, Lomachenko.
I think he's a really good fighter. You know, I actually missed his name off the list, but I think he's a very good fighter as well.
No, it's a good shot as well. Yeah, it's good.
Totally forgot about that guy, man. I'm not even. He's only had 17 fights though.
Crawford's good as well. Terence Crawford,
Errol Spence.
That's a fight we want to see as well.
Crawford and Spence. You know what? That fight was meant to happen, but Spence got injured. He was in a car accident, weren't he?
Yes, correct.
So I think they are still looking at doing that fight once he's back, if it makes sense. There's no point doing it if it doesn't make sense. Like, Lomachenko is actually fighting Richard Comey on the 11th of December. I didn't know that. He's actually fought Anthony Crawler, and I've not heard that name in a long time. British boxer.
Yes.
And he's beaten, after that, he beat Luke Campbell, the British boxer. Apparently, Luke Campbell's retired this year. Did anybody know about
that? Yeah, I think he subtly announced it.
Subtly, so no one knew about it. Yeah. So Paul's brought up a couple of boxers here: Canelo, Fury, Donaire, Ino, Josh Taylor, Tifimo, Loma, Usyk, Chocolatito. Who's Chocolito?
Is that not a coffee at Starbucks?
It probably is.
And AJ, I like Loka too. Lomachenko, yeah, good list. But there are some boxes in that I will be honest, I've not heard of. Chocolatito. To me, that sounds like something you get at Starbucks, definitely. Right. Another question I want to ask both of you: top 10 of this generation. So boxers that are still boxing, not boxers, sorry. UFC, MMA fighters that are still active, top 10 of this generation that are still active. So Khabib, not active, so you can't mention Khabib. Otherwise, Khabib will be number 1 for me.
Masvidal.
Good shout.
Masvidal.
Nadeem?
Poirier.
Poirier is a good boxer.
Struggling to think, right?
Masvidal's definitely one. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaichi, Chandler's a good fighter. Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz, the two brothers, they're both good. Islam, I can't remember his surname now. That guy I was just talking about before, he's a good one. Kismat, I know he's up and coming, but when you watch that guy fight, just mad. I'm going to try and get a fight of his and send you both the link so you can watch it.
What about Max Holloway? How would you rate him?
Max Holloway is a good fighter, man. Very good fighter. I'm trying to find this fighter on YouTube for you lot, man. Here we go. I've got his fight up. I'm going to send you both. This is his first fight. Yeah, this was his MMA debut. I don't know if you get this link, Nadeem. I'm sending you in the private chat. Let me know if you get it. Don't have to watch it now, but when you get time, watch him. Watch his other fights as well, not just his first. The guy's a bit of a loose cannon. Oh, Nadeem's just chipped. I think that's because he tried opening the fight and on his phone there, and it just dipped him out. He'll be back. He'll be back.
No, that's fine, bro. That's fine.
But yeah, back to the question, man. Top 10 UFC fighters of this generation. I know you've mentioned Masvidal.
So I went off the list of what I know and who I've seen. I'll be honest with you. I watch more boxing than UFC, but I have seen bits and pieces of them. So that was my take on it.
Yeah, no, cool. What about you, Nadeem? You didn't really name any boxers in that list, bro.
Boxers?
UFC fighters.
You know what it is? I'm a bit out of touch with the UFC. I haven't watched it in a long time properly.
All right, fair enough. Top 10 of all time.
Comment. Of all time, Randy Couture,
Bisping.
George St. Pierre, Bisping.
Come on, Khabib's got to be on that list somewhere.
Oh yeah, mate. He lost an eye in the fight, didn't he? So.
Say again.
He lost an eye in a fight, so he's definitely got to be on there.
Who lost an eye in a fight?
Michael Bisping.
No, I'm talking about Khabib, you mad head. I'm saying Khabib's got to be on your list somewhere.
Yeah, Khabib be on there. Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, Rampage, Jackson.
Yeah.
Classic names there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ortiz, Dos Santos Jr. Some good fighters, man. Definitely.
Right, he'd be on there as well. He was good.
Yeah, he was good, man. A question I want to ask both of you. Now, where would you rate, of all time in UFC, where would you put Conor McGregor?
Right at the bottom.
Okay. Let me give you some context on it, right? His fight-wise, his record, and his in-ring ability. Don't go off his loud mouth and his outside of the octagon bullshit that he's had. Like, just specifically as a fighter and his win-loss record and all that, where would you put him?
I'd say he's average.
Average? What about you,
There's nothing special, mate.
You're right, definitely. I agree with you on that. I 100% agree with you on that.
So his record is 22 fights, 6 losses.
Yep.
But he has won multiple championships.
Yeah, no, of course. So where would you rate him, though, Shaz? Where would you rate him? We don't need to know his record, bro. We can pull that up. But where would you put him?
I would say he's decent, but not one of the best. So probably mid-card.
No, like, is he... So Nadeem gave him average, yeah? So would you give him above average, below average?
I would call him just probably below average. I would say. I mean, Khabib for me is elite.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's not many fighters that you will put in that same bracket as Khabib.
Yeah.
The only thing about McGregor is he gets a lot of pay-per-views because of his big mouth.
Yeah, but
and his insults.
That's the thing. It fights like UFC. They shouldn't be allowed to insult each other's families and stuff like that. It's not WWE where they have promos and they talk shit about each other. I mean, that's all scripted, as we know. That it's a storyline and everything. That's not real. But in UFC, when it happens, it's real. I mean, he means what he says. When he calls Khabib a rat or, stuff like that, he means it. Or when he says something to other people, like, he means it.
Well,
These people take it personally.
One thing McGregor has going for him, and it's probably whether you like it or not, he has brought a lot of publicity to the UFC. So Dana White has publicly come out and said yes.
He has brought a lot of publicity, but he's brought a lot of negativity towards UFC as well.
But people wouldn't be watching.
There's positives to what he's done, but there's negatives that I think the negatives outweigh the positives that he's brought. So he shouldn't be allowed to carry on the way he is.
Yeah, his convictions probably are more than his win-loss record, mate.
Yeah. The only thing he has going for him is his big mouth, right? I mean, he's been proven that he's not the best. 6 times, as you said, Chaz. He's been beaten 6 times. Don't you think it's time for this guy to retire? Especially after his ankle.
But he'll probably end up wanting to have another leg snap before he learns his lesson.
Well, I think
I'd watch that. I'd watch if I knew he was going to get his leg snapped. I'd stay up to watch it if I knew someone was going to snap his leg. I'm not even joking. I've got no sympathy for the guy at all. None whatsoever. That he's just one of those people that I can't stand, and I just, I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't wish death upon him or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but don't give a shit about what happens to him in the UFC ring or octagon. But yeah, I think that is all the time we have today. We are going to end this one now. What we are going to do going forward with Fight Night, we are going to only bring it as a review for big fights and then a preview before the fight and a review after. So you won't be seeing Fight Night every week. But don't worry, we are going to be replacing it. Yeah, I mean, if there were more big fights, we'd be here every week, innit? But, like you said, there isn't enough fights to cover. So we're going to cut it down a bit. So we're not here talking about just random stuff for no reason. Because we want to bring you the best content.
There's a whole other channel for that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But we will be replacing Fight Night with something else when we aren't doing it. So keep your eyes peeled for the next the new shows coming. And I'm going to leave it with Shaz, and then I'm going to go to Nadeem, give you your final thoughts on what we've talked about. If you want to add anything else, and then we'll end it there.
No, I think it's been a great show. Great to catch up with you guys again to cover the Fury fight and just cover some of our.
You do realize, bro, you missed that episode last week, yeah?
Oh, I did. I watched it back. It was a
joking, bro.
I enjoyed the banter between you boys. So it was good to get back on. And as always, Nadeem ripping Shaz a new asshole.
He didn't rip me at all last week. What are you on about? You were watching the wrong show, bro. I'm sure you were watching the wrong show.
I watch you every day, bro. Don't worry. It's all good. But much love to everybody. And we will be back very soon, as Shaz has said, with more content.
Dave?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what Shaz said, mate. It's been a blast. It's been a good one. Good banter. Good convo. Yeah. I'll see you again.
Yep, we'll see you all in the next episode. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. Otherwise, I'm going to be sending Nadeem to your house with his boxing gloves. You don't want that. I'm joking, man. But yeah, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the race to 200, so please help us with the push for that. Official Twitter and Facebook of the channel are below. Email address is below if you want to jump on any of the shows. Hit us up and we'll work something out. But for now, thanks everyone for tuning in and see you in the next episode.